But how am I going to prove it? I I don't know. I don't know. Let's see. We got some more results in, and still so far, um, they are predicting that Illinois, Maryland, it looks like New Jersey and D.C., Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Vermont, and Maine have gone for Obama. Again, I don't think that's really anything out of the ordinary because pretty much the Northeast is a good blue swath. And Illinois because it's his home state, adopted home state. And it looks like they're projecting that Indiana, Kentucky, West Virginia, Oklahoma, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, and South Carolina are going to Romney, which changes the electoral college decision a little bit, giving Obama a lead of 64 to Romney's 40. At the same time, it looks like they have called a number of House seats, and the GOP is leading 20 to the Democrats 11. And Democrats in the Senate, it is now a 34-38 count for the Senate, 34 Democrats, 38 GOP. If this holds, and it's an iffy thing, especially considering that that Massachusetts, the Scott Brown, Elizabeth Warren fiasco could go to Elizabeth Brown. Even in Massachusetts, I would be highly shocked that they would vote for Elizabeth Warren. I mean, the woman is just a total lying. Harvard now says that she's a lying nut job, basically. But it is what it is, and it's kind of like it's folks. It's early. I remember playing basketball. You got 4 quarters. And I think what were our quarters in high school? Were they 12-minute quarters? I think they were 10 or 12-minute quarters. In any case, it's a lot of time. If you fall behind in the first quarter, no big deal. Even if you're behind in the second quarter going into the half, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Because you still got 20 minutes to come back. Play your game 20 minutes. Into the third quarter, beginning of the fourth quarter, now you got to start tightening things up, and then you start worrying. So, we're not going to start worrying until the West, the Pacific time zone starts to close its polls. But it's still early. Still early. And, we might not even know tonight because, Ohio and Florida could be, and Pennsylvania could go into, in tomorrow for counting. And of course, I'm sure that there are a gaggle of lawyers in those states ready to go to court to try to sway the results. Now, it is what it is. It is what it is. Now, here's something that's kind of interesting. Hot Air is also reporting something about Dan Rather. Dan Rather says, I'm thinking Romney's got this. Now, this is via Newsbusters. This is a bit like watching Dick Morris predict that Romney wins by 500 electoral votes or whatever. But on one hand, optimism is thrilling. On the other hand, you have to consider the source. Dan Rather. He says, I'm thinking Romney's got this. Well, Dan, it's probably not a good idea for you to admit such a thing. I'm just saying. It's probably not a good idea. Oh, man. This is what it's all about, folks. It comes down to, it doesn't really matter what all the pundits think. It doesn't really matter what I think. What counts is your vote. That's what counts. In the end, it doesn't matter, what the Redskin rule is or what any other prognosticator is or what any poll is or what any pundit says. In the end, it's all about you and the candidates. Who do you believe has a better vision? Who do you believe has better ideas for policy? That's it. If you believe Obama has a better vision, nobody knows what that vision is. Well, some of us really know what his vision is, but he hasn't really espoused what his vision is. But we can take an educated guess, and we'd be on the money, that it would be, more or less a socialistic agenda, and one that really weakens the United States. I have, I didn't. There was the movie 2016. Does anybody remember that? I didn't recommend people seeing it or not seeing it. For a number of reasons. I am not that. I can't say I'm not that partisan, because evidently I am. But I'm not so sure that the history of Obama. I mean, it is all speculation, by the way. In the movie, a lot of it is speculation because we really don't know much about him. He doesn't say much about himself. There's a lot that we still don't know. So So I'm not one that's going to say, well, let's just speculate here. We have to go by. I'm one for logic and facts, and the facts are that this guy has marched down a particular road that is not exactly pro-capitalism, pro-American, pro-superpower. In no way in hell is it. You can logically say that his methodical dismantling of certain aspects of our culture, like taking over healthcare and taking the decision out of your hands, is anti-American. One can logically say that he has a beef. He's got a chip on his shoulder for this country. You can come to that conclusion by logic based on historical data and fact. But the rest of the stuff in 2016 is outside of that realm is speculation. But speculation can, if it is properly done, can lead you to the right in the right direction. But it was too speculative for me to say, go watch this before the election and then use that as a basis for your voting. We didn't need the movie. Honestly, I didn't need the movie, honestly, in order to show the dictates of, that is, Barack Obama and his thought process. His actions have already spoken loud and clear. And that alone was enough for people, I believe, not to give him another shot. Plain and simple. But it's going to be... it's going to be close. I think it's going to be... I know there are some people out there that are that were predicting and projecting going to 300 electoral delegates going to Romney. I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be very, very close. And at this particular point, I am not feeling chipper enough to feel good about the final tally, that it is going to go in Romney's favor. Now, what we have going on now is that we have more stuff closing and more predictions more states being called: Connecticut, Delaware, D.C., Illinois, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, New Jersey, Rhode Island, and Vermont. Obama. Alabama, Georgia, Indiana, Kentucky, Mississippi, Oklahoma, South Carolina, Tennessee, West Virginia, Romney. It's a 78 to 82 score right now. Again, early. In the Senate, it looks like it's so far 39 seats for Republicans, 36 seats for Democrats. Still early. Lots of Senate races in the Mountain and Pacific, not even anywhere near being closed yet. Same for the House, because it's the entire House is being voted upon, as it is every 2 years. But and it's kind of redundant or stupid to even mention the numbers right now. But 26 to 12, Republican over Democrat, or 26 to 13. They've just changed that. So it's it's not listing by states yet who the on Fox if who the winners are, but I guess we'll find out soon enough. I'm really interested in the Massachusetts race to see about Scott and Scott Brown and Elizabeth Warren. Now, here in New Hampshire, it was heavy voting. I mean, it was a heavy turnout. It was incredibly. In fact, they switched the polling place. They switched it to a better location, actually, to a better school than where it was in the past. But they had to do it because of the anticipated turnout, and it looked like they were not disappointed. It was incredible. It was. It did. Even though I knew I was walking past people I knew who voted for Obama, it still made me feel really good that this is the type of process that we as Americans get to participate in and can enjoy, and that these people were exercising and utilizing that right. Because if you don't use it, you're going to lose it. Well, and if you use it in the wrong way, you could possibly lose it too. But it's I was really I felt good to be. Every time I vote and I see other people voting, it makes me feel good to be an American. And I know that there are people that aren't voting with me or agreeing with me. It still makes me feel. I applaud you if you vote for somebody else that I do not particularly enjoy. Great, we can disagree on politics, but let me tell you something. I am proud of you, from one American to another, that you are participating and you voted. And hopefully you did so with a methodical, logical, thoughtful, in a thoughtful process. So I'm just hoping that that's the case. But if you're voting for, well, there's a lot of people out there that you can look at and say that there's absolutely, if you just look at the unadulterated truth. It's not always the case with Democrats that the unadulterated truth is that they're just a bad candidate or bad choice. That's not always the case. In this case for president, it is. But it might be a little bit closer for people like here, in my state, Governor Maggie Hassan, she's just a nut job, and Annie Custer's another nut job, and down in Massachusetts, Elizabeth Warren is a nut job. But in other races in other states, it may not be that cut and dry. May not be. But if you use a methodical, logical reasoning to come to a decision on your vote, I applaud you. If you are basing your vote on just touchy-feely without any logic or any facts at all, we would probably be better off if you didn't vote at all, because you're an airhead.